What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update, guys. We're seeing this one coming on that rogue and very greedy Attorney General over in New York. It's Letitia James, guys. I'm excited to get into this one and see the huge backfire. Another devastating blow coming on Letitia James' civil fraud case brought about against Donald Trump in that kangaroo court of Judge Arthur Ingram. We're seeing the two try to pair up to take down Donald Trump. None of it's working, of course, guys. And we got the truth being leaked and exposed in this next clip on Letitia James and this corrupt judge, guys. Why they're actually bringing about this, this raid case on Donald Trump, this political witch hunt. I'm excited to get into this clip and see exactly what's going on. The truth finally being exposed. Letitia James at, risk of being kicked off the case and removed from her seat as Attorney General based off this next clip. I'm excited to get into it and see exactly what's going on, guys. So we're going to get straight into it and I'll get my thoughts on the back end of the video, guys. So definitely stick around to the end so you guys get my thoughts on the back end. And also YouTube push this video out. Definitely stick around until the end, you guys. But yo, let's get straight into it. Before we do that though, make sure you guys hit that like button and also hit that subscribe button, guys. We're on the road to the truth. Hop aboard for the journey. Let's get into it, y'all.
Letitia James, so close. You came so close to stealing Trump's properties, to confiscating them in your little communist empire. You and creepy Judge Engoron. And it's all floating out of your hands. I got some news for you guys. Let's get to it. Some clips and some articles, really just to get you up to speed on what's happening with Trump's trials in New York. Welcome to Doug in Exile. I'm Doug TenNapel. This is where the happy patriots are. Part of why we're happy is because the Democrats' plans against Trump didn't work. Here's three headlines. Boom, boom, boom. MSNBC News. Donald Trump posts $175 million bond in civil fraud case. So yes, he posted the bond. He's good. That was 10 hours ago. Here's CNN. Trump posts $175 million bond in New York civil fraud case as he appeals. And then here's the Hill. Trump rips New York fraud case after posting $175 million bond. We're going to go to that center article with CNN and read that one because it's so hilarious. CNN Politics headlines. Trump posts $175 million bond in New York civil fraud case as he appeals. Former President Donald Trump has posted a $175 million bond as he appeals the judgment against him in New York civil fraud case brought by State Attorney General Letitia James. Trump's bond pauses any action that James could take against Trump's properties in response to the judgment until at least September. Guys, this thing is over. When the state appeals court also set a schedule to hear his appeal of the $464 million verdict against him. I'm going to zip down to this Alina Habba quote. Quote, as promised, President Trump has posted bond. Trump attorney Alina Habba said in a statement, quote, he looks forward to vindicating his rights on appeal and overturning this unjust verdict, unquote, in a Truth Social post on Tuesday morning. The former president said he posted the bond just for the right to appeal this travesty of a case, and criticized Engoron. We have that Truth Social from Trump at the end of this video, so hold tight. Here's Turley on Fox News with just a quick overview of the entire case.
Look, this has really done great damage to the New York legal system and how it's perceived internationally. This is thrilling for many people in New York who, after all, elected James on a pledge to bag Trump for something. So this is obviously playing well to the New York base. But outside New York, and particularly international businesses, are looking at this, I think, with a degree of horror. That a judge could come up with a figure so large you have to sell parts of your business just to get an appeal.
And that's what's embarrassing to Letitia James. They actually made a size of bond that can't be appealed. It's impossible. So it shows their hatred of Trump, exposes them as Democrat operatives, which is good for Trump. Even in New York, here's Simon Ateba. Trump writes, thank you to Professor Jonathan Turley. That was the last video clip. Jonathan Turley for exposing the horrendous decision made by a corrupt New York State judge, Arthur Engoron, on the I will get Trump unquote, worst in the nation, AG Letitia James. Unfair case against me. I just posted a $175 million bond just for the right to appeal this tragedy of the case, which I won at an appellate division, but the judge refuses to accept it. A first, that's Judge Engeron. He is a whacked out nut job who just made up a number out of thin air, just like he did on the value of Mar-a-Lago. Businesses won't enter New York because of this decision, and many are fleeing. Think of it. I had to pay an enormous sum for the right to appeal the ridiculous decision of a crooked judge and attorney general. This is election interference, and it all comes directly from Joe Biden and the White House, and attack along with all the others on this political opponent. Me, says Trump. Trump was given this argument by a citizen journalist, like a schmo lady lawyer who found the something in the Constitution, and it ended up making its way to Trump's lawyers. Check this one out.
Well, when the New York judge decided to fine Donald Trump basically all the cash he had and then some to virtually ensure that he would not be able to appeal.
So she went sleuthing after that happened. I just think it's very impressive what she found. It encourages me as a citizen journalist too. You never know how high these things go.
I thought to myself, I'm going to check the Eighth Amendment and see if it has a clause in it that says accept Trump, because the Eighth Amendment prohibits excessive fines. And I looked up the Supreme Court case most recently that decided whether this applies to the states as well as the federal government.
She goes to the Eighth Amendment that she says you can't have extreme fines on someone like Trump. And many of the Democrats were kicking back going, but that Eighth Amendment is not for the states. It's only to limit the federal government. She goes back and finds a case. The New York, the states were also limited by that same constitution. And it was argued by a strange ally of Trump's. Can you guess which judge wrote the opinion?
2019 was the year. The case is Timms versus Indiana. It's a gentleman's name. He had a $10,000 fine that he owed for a drug-related offense. The state of Indiana wanted to seize his $42,000 car, which he bought with insurance proceeds, not with drug proceeds. The Indiana court said it's an excessive fine, and the Indiana Supreme Court overturned that and said, yes, but the excessive fines clause doesn't apply to the states. And it went to the Supreme Court.
And this Indiana case goes before Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Does this limitation, this amendment, apply to the states or just to the government?
And the Supreme Court said in 2019, yes, it does apply to the states. Excessive fines are prohibited. And then there's a long definition of proportionality and the rest of it. The decision was unanimous, and it was written by Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg saved Trump's butt. Good job, Ruth. Thank you once again. Now, what's amazing about our law and our Constitution, it can actually cut both ways. Trump can now use this decision by Ruth Bader Ginsburg and say that that Eighth Amendment of excessive fines applies to New York, and therefore Judge Engeron and Letitia James are anti-Constitution.
And so I wrote a column about it. I said, here's how Ruth Bader Ginsburg just saved Donald Trump $455 million. Because I had all of the citations to the different decisions, I think it was passed around to the lawyers, some of whom were representing Trump, and it ended up in his hands. And so he posted a link to it on Truth Social. And so there's been a lot of traffic to that column.
How cool is that? She writes a little column, Trump reposts it. It made its way back to him, and he liked it. And he started mentioning the Eighth Amendment in some of his speeches. I saw it happen. So this is all because of a citizen journalist, this lady that did the research.
What brilliant legal sleuthing. It reminds me how much I revere this country and our Constitution, that actually we can go back and actually establish facts and the law and insist that they're followed. There's something about that whole story you've just told that I find deeply, deeply moving, actually.
Yeah, we can insist that they're followed. The problem is the Democrats hate following their own decisions. Let's keep going, though, because there's a lot more on Letitia James. Here's Laura Loomer on Twitter, exclusive. Lauren Merchants, that's Judge Merchant's daughter, Laura Merchant's mother, and Judge Merchant's wife worked for the Trump-hating New York Attorney General Letitia James. So this is the judge in charge of the Stormy Daniels case with Alvin Bragg. Who are the Democrats not in bed with? Look, there's Laura Merchant. She's the Attorney General, Special Assistant Attorney General. Attorney General records show Laura Merchant held job of Special Assistant to the Attorney General from 2008 to 2022. She worked for Letitia James. Of course, this other Judge Juan Merchant is not going to recuse himself, because that would be doing what Democrats demand conservative judges do, like Clarence Thomas. And then here's the actual legal document down there, the original mortgager, Juan Merchant and Laura Merchant. Now let's get to Trump on Truth Social. He posted, I've just posted a $175 million bond with a sadly failing and very troubled new state of New York, based on a corrupt judge and corrupt attorney general who used a state that was never used for this before. There was no jury was allowed. My financial statements were conservative and had a 100% perfect caution non-reliance clause. There were no victims except me. There was no crime or damage. There was only success and happy banks. The case was fabricated election interference con job, so bad for New York, where businesses are fleeing and violent crime is flourishing. Thank you, Letitia James, for your contribution with violent crimes. The crooked judge, Engoron, to suit his narrative, valued Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida at $18 million when it was worth 50 to 100 times that amount. He ruled I was guilty before he ever saw the case. He should be disbarred. And Letitia James, who campaigned on getting Trump, she should be impeached. Also posted a $91 million bond on another New York fake case that's with E. Jean Carroll. I can't use that money on my campaign. Just what Crooked Joe wanted, witch hunt. Man, this is powerful stuff. Here's Judge Janine Fan. Senator Hawley Press calling for AG Letitia James to be disbarred for targeting her political opponent. Do you agree with Senator Hawley Press? Should Letitia, you guys in the chat, should Letitia be disbarred? Yes or no? If you believe yes, also give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Here's the New York Post. Dems, clients of daughter of New York judge in Trump hush money trial, raised $93 million off the case. What the what? I'll just read you some of this article. Two major Democratic clients of the daughter of the judge overseeing Donald Trump's hush money trial have raised at least $93 million in campaign donations and used the case in their solicitation email. So they sent out talking about what Trump was doing to raise $93 million, raising renewed concerns that the jurist has a major conflict of interest. Trump's attorneys are considering filing another motion mandating Manhattan Supreme Court Justice Juan Merchant recuse himself from the case, set to begin April 15th, sources said. Main take home is they're all in bed with each other. They're all raising money. Trump's the only one being censored and saying that he cannot speak on this. Of course, anyone else would be nailed with having to recuse themselves until a Democrat does it. But I mostly wanted to make this video about an update on how Judge Engoron and Letitia James are looking worse and worse to the public. They're starting to open themselves up to being investigated themselves, just like what happened with Fani Willis. Of course, I'm so happy you're here sharing this moment with me, guys. These are good times when we can make fun of Letitia James and Judge Engoron.
Yo, there we have it, guys. Coming from our friend Doug in Exile. I'll definitely be sure to leave that original video link down in the description box below for those who want to go over there and check that out. Also, you guys to go over there and show our friend Doug a bit of love. Oh my goodness, guys. We're seeing this whole thing, this whole charade case of Letitia James, that corrupt and greedy attorney general over in New York, coming to a very abrupt halt, where we're now seeing Donald Trump has posted a $175 million bond, for that appeal process to get started. Sounds like this whole thing is going to be tied up, stopping Letitia James's effort to interfere with the election, right in its tracks, guys. Just like what Trump's lawyer, Alina Habba, said on, that PBD podcast, stating in the interview, Letitia James, E.G. and Carol, all these, rogue figures are not getting any money, won't get a penny from Donald Trump. And that's exactly what we're seeing right here. Donald Trump's legal team advised him to get that, $175 million bond posted in order to get the appeals process kicked off, because they all knew that, once the appeals courts, once, a higher courts gets their eyes on, this judgment brought about by this corrupt Judge Arthur Ingram, and the greedy Attorney General, Miss Letitia James, they're going to toss this whole thing right out. They've already, shrunk it down from the historic value of $500 million all the way down to the $175 million. Their whole motive is going to be exposed. What already has been exposed, just based off, the way this judgment amount has grown over time. First it was 81 million, then it was like 250 million, then it grew all the way up to $375 million, guys, which grew to $450 million. The only reason why this judgment would keep flip-flopping and growing like it has is because Letitia James and Judge Arthur Ingram were trying to pinpoint and see Trump's reaction to which judgment amount would make him shake or make him react, which would give the corrupt pair, the direct indicator that Donald Trump, could not, his resources can't stand the pressure that they were putting on him. But they never got that. They never got, any type of, flinch or stammer from Donald Trump. He stood in the face of, everything they threw at him and, kept fighting back. And that's exactly why he's where he is right now, guys. He does not back down in the face of challenges, in the face of struggle. He has shown time and time again that he is going to stand up and rise to the occasion, guys. All it's going to take is for the appeals courts to get one look and one whiff of this whole thing and say that this thing stinks, guys. There's something fishy about the whole case, guys, brought about against Donald Trump. This civil fraud case was done incorrectly, guys, and they've weaponized the Department of Justice system in the worst way, you guys. But it sounds like we're not going to be getting, any word from the appeals court for quite some time. Said that this case will be on pause, the judgment will be on pause. Donald Trump won't be ordered to pay a thing in, the meantime, in between time. He's already posted his $175 million, so he's safe. The appeals court, it's time for them to do their job. Start of the review and all the materials that, Letitia James and Judge Arthur Ingram had, to bring about this historic judgment on Donald Trump. Once they review the materials and the evidence they have against Donald Trump, which was little to none, this is all brought about with no jury of Donald Trump's peers and little to no evidence, guys. Not to mention the incorrect statutes that were brought about, against Donald Trump in order to bring about this case, guys. The appeals court's going to look at this thing and laugh, have a good laugh at this whole case. Letitia James doesn't know what she's doing. She was put up to this by the Biden administration. We already know this is coming from higher up. This is not solely Letitia James. It's all being foiled. Now this whole thing being delayed until September, guys. Definitely hop in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on this one. We're seeing a big rain on Letitia James's parade, guys, with this whole thing being tied up in the appeals court. Donald Trump coming up with $175 million. The same cast that Letitia James thought, to tie up and end Donald Trump's campaigning efforts. Showing otherwise, guys, definitely hop in the comment section and let me know your thoughts. Also, make sure you guys hit that share button and share this out to as many Facebook friends as possible, guys. Share the truth. Also, make sure you guys hit that like button. It doesn't cost a thing. Hit that like button for your boy. And also hit that subscribe button, guys. We're on the road to the truth. Hop aboard for the journey. I'll catch you guys on the next week. Yo, what's happening, Retro fam? Are you guys looking for a way to connect with your boy Retro and the Retro fam on a day-to-day basis? Look no further, guys. Memberships have now been launched where you can gain exclusive access to chat with your boy Retro and the community and gain perks, guys. Just hop in the description box below and check out the link for memberships, guys. You can subscribe on a monthly basis to chat and have exclusive perks with your boy Retro and the Retro community, guys. Check that out in the description box today.